Greetings to all my friends on YouTube and Facebook and wherever else this video is going to be seen and shared. It's me again, SaleenDriver, or Dane if you prefer, coming to you with another SaleenDriver Rants video. I've been doing a bunch of these regarding sports teams and the names they use, and how in the age of woke, most of these team names are offensive to the easily offended. And I mean people who are triggered by, I don't know, McDonald's running out of chicken nuggets. They call 911. I mean, I saw a video recently of a woman went on a full-blown tirade over a guy driving a pickup truck in her neighborhood. Really? Have we sunk that low? Well, it seems that way. Anyway, I've done all the major sports, pro sports groups, and I've done a couple of the major college football conferences. Today we're going to focus on the Big Ten, or as I call them, the Small Ten. And I don't know why they're called the Big Ten. There are more than 10 teams in there. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So really, shouldn't they be the Big 14? Well, I call them the Small 10 anyway, because they're nothing against the teams like from the SEC. But we'll get to them later. Anyway, you know the drill. I'm going to read out the teams in each division. I'm going to tell you who their team names are offending, and then I move on. I'm not here to suggest new names. That's up to the teams. And you know how colleges love to set up committees filled with little Birkenstock wearing, long beard, maggot infested hippie type students, so they can tell the old folks what's wrong with what they're doing and so on. So we'll leave it up to the universities to fix the problem. I'm just going to point out the problem. Anyway, Big Ten has two divisions, East and West. We're going to start with the East. We're going to start with the Indiana Hoosiers, because we're going in alphabetical order. And I did do research on some of these team names to see where they were derived from. So it's like I'm talking, off the top of my head. I did research. I did actually work on this. So, Indiana Hoosiers. Hoosiers is a colloquialism of the name people gave to the people from the state of Indiana. They call them Hoosiers. And that doesn't seem to be a terribly offensive name, so we're going to give the Indiana Hoosiers a pass. However, for people who love good college football, you're offensive. So maybe you might want to think about just being a basketball school and folding your program, because quite frankly, my friends, you suck at college football. Maryland Terrapins. Well, for one thing, you have some of the ugliest uniforms, in specific, the ugliest helmets in all of college football, which encompasses hundreds of football teams in multiple levels, D1, 1A, D2, D3. You have some of the ugliest uniforms in all of college football. So you're offensive to people with eyes. Okay? But you're also named for a type of turtle. And as we all know by now, say it with me, fine, furry, feathered friends. Well, turtles not fine. Well, they're fine, I guess, but not furry or feathered, but they are animals, and you are exploiting animals for profit, and we cannot have that in the age of woke. Michigan Wolverines. You probably should change your name to the Michigan Khaki Pants. Only college football fans will understand that, but for our purposes, Wolverines are aggressive animals. We can't have aggression in the age of the beta male pajama boy wokeness. Toxic masculinity is out. You gotta get rid of it. All toxic masculinity has to be removed. In fact, I'm surprised in the age of woke that we're still allowed to play football at this point, because that's an aggressor sport. And of course, Wolverines are fine, furry, feathered friends, so animal rights people will be offended, using animals for profit. Moving on, Michigan State Spartans, named after the Spartans of old. And we all know the Spartans, if you watch the movie 300, which was a fine movie in its own right. Spartans were a warrior people. Well, warriors were warriors, people who make war. And for the most part, well, no, I can't really say that part, so never mind that. So, you're aggressive, warmongering killer people. And in the age of woke, with the milky, white-skinned, scrawny, 105-pound soaking wet pajama boy who doesn't know which bathroom to use, we can't have anything named after warrior peoples. You can't do it. Ohio State, or as I call them, Overrated State University Buckeyes. You're named after the state tree. Oh, joy, the state tree. But you are using a tree, one of Gaia's sentinels, standing statues. And you're using that for profit, so you're going to offend the environmentalist wackos. So maybe you should change your name so as not to offend the environmentalists, I guess. Penn State Nittany Lions. Well, a lion is an aggressive cat species. And, we can't have aggression. And you're using an animal for the image of an animal for profit, and that will offend the animal rights people. And finally, the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. Well, first of all, Rutgers, like Indiana, one of the worst college football teams in all of Division I. You're an offense to people who like college football because, quite frankly, you're what you laughingly call football team is a joke, and you need to stop it. But irregardless of that, knights were aristocratic white guys on horses with swords, raping and pillaging and murdering and exploiting people. And even though that all of that is not true, it is true to the mind of the woke. And so we can't have knights. They're aggressors and know the weapons and the exploitation. So we need to fix that. We need to rename the team. Sorry. Move to the Western Division. You have the Illinois Fighting Illini. The Fighting Illini are an Indian tribe. And as far as my research tells me, the Illini tribe is okay with the University of Illinois using their name and their imagery to represent their team. But unfortunately, that doesn't mean anything, because if the Native Americans are okay with it, the rich, liberal white people aren't, because they have to show that they're woke. So even though they say it's offensive to Native Americans, it really isn't, but it's offensive to rich, liberal white people. So they're the ones that count, obviously, because they're the ones screaming the loudest. So the Illinois Fighting Illini will have to change their name, even though the Native Americans are perfectly fine with it, at least according to my research. Iowa Hawkeyes. The Hawkeyes were named after the Delaware Indian tribe, given to the people of Iowa after the publishing of the book The Last of the Mohicans. So, Hawkeye is an old Indian tribe, the Delaware Indians. So obviously, because they're Native Americans, they should be offended by the use of the word Hawkeye to represent the Iowa football team and sports program. Except they're not. My research, from what I found, they're fine with it. They don't care. And this goes back to the problem with the Illini, with the Florida State Seminoles, and with a whole bunch of other Indian tribe named teams, pro and college. The tribe in question is generally okay with this, and they've been checked with. It's rich white liberals that are pissed off, or just white liberals in general. They don't necessarily have to be rich, but the white liberals are screaming the loudest. They're the woke. And so what the Native Americans say or don't say is immaterial to them. It's an offense, so get rid of it. Minnesota, pardon me, my back hurts. Minnesota Golden Gophers. Well, the gopher is a relatively innocuous little animal. They're kind of cute. They don't really seem to do anything bad, but you are exploiting an animal for capitalist profit, and according to the woke, we can't have that. Nebraska Cornhuskers. Nebraskans are colloquially referred to as Cornhuskers. So unless you hate corn, and I love corn, I love the sweet white corn on the cob with lots of butter. Delicious. But if you hate corn, you're going to be offended. But honestly, I don't know anyone who hates corn. So the Nebraska Cornhuskers, they get a pass. Even though I hate the Nebraska Cornhuskers. But that's a football thing. Northwestern Wildcats. Well, wildcats are an aggressor animal. We've been over that. Using an animal for, exploiting an animal imagery for profit. We've been over that, so gotta fix that. Purdue Boilermakers. I actually know somebody who went to Purdue and loves the Boilermakers. Shout out to you, J.O., if you're watching. You're probably not, but shout out to you anyway. Miss you, buddy. Boilermakers used to make boilers for steam engines. Steam engines burn fuel, pollute, and help racist white killer people cross the continent, murdering and raping and pillaging and slaughtering as they went. Except they really didn't, but never mind. So Boilermakers offend, they're going to offend multiple groups, so we're going to have to fix that. I don't know to what. And also Boilermaker is a type of drink, right? It's that drink where you have a beer and you dump a shot glass into it, or the glass and all into the beer, and then you drink it, and that's a Boilermaker. So that might offend people who are have an aversion to alcohol. Hell with it. And finally, the Wisconsin Badgers. Well, badgers are little animals, but they tend to be aggressive a bit. Nasty teeth. So it's even though it's kind of a cute little animal, it's also got some aggressor tendencies to it. We can't have aggression. And of course, obviously, you can't use animal imagery for profit. So that's it. That's the video for the Big Ten. Almost all of the team names will offend the woke, except for, I guess, Nebraska. But hell, they'll find some reason to hate Nebraska, the corn getting stuck in their teeth and stuff like that. Or, farming requires the burning of fuel and fertilizers and chemicals and everything. And that's bad for the environment and blah, blah, blah. So maybe the Nebraska Cornhuskers are going to have to change their name too, because the environmentalists, wackos, will get offended. Whatever. So that's it. If you liked the video, you found it humorous, and remember, this video was to be taken in humor, which is the way it's meant. I'm not here to offend. I'm here to make you laugh, maybe make you think. Maybe I'll offend a few people, but those are people I don't care if I offend or not. Thumbs up the video if you liked it. comments, questions, suggestions below. If you have suggestions for the renaming of some of these teams, put them down there. Love to hear them. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Or you've been here for a while, welcome still. If you're not already a subscriber, click the subscribe button and then click the bell icon next to it so that when I upload more material, you're alerted. Thanks for stopping by. See you in my next video.